Okay, so we have a new film from Vision Films, right? It is called, um, yeah, well, it's got two names, right? Which is a little confusing. So it's either a Rocky Mountain Affair or Hearts Creek. Now, I believe in Canada, it's Hearts Creek. And the rest of the world is a Rocky Mountain Affair. I don't know why we have these two different names, but that's what we have. Now, it is directed by Chris Bragg and Jason Wan Lim, written by Steve Goldsworthy. The film is produced by Kyle Cooper and Jason Wan Lim, even. It's executive produced by Scott J. Jones, Peter Foldy, and Josh Brandon. Co-produced by Chris Bragg. Associate produced by Steve Goldsworthy and Rachel Arlene Jones. Tyler Bragg and Tanya Wan Lim took care of the music. Spiro Grant was on cinematography. Chris Bragg and Diana Paccio were on editing duties. Jason Ferian was down with the casting. Production design is Bobby Van Onin. Mike Casper was art direction. Leanne Smith is costume design. Hair makeup is Kate Panic. Rachel Arlene Jones, Christine Epp, and Catelyn Dixon. So, our cast. We have got Krista Chyc is Meg. Her boss, Diane, is played by Heather Pattengill. Right? Her friend Sherry is played by Jane Oliphant. Then we've got Rye, played by Duff Zayonce. His friend Curly, played by Simon Challenger. There is Brian, played by Gerard Blake. Raymond, played by Taha Akram. Jamie, played by Rayanne Boone. The gist of our story: a talented young events planner is given the opportunity of a lifetime when she is to oversee an adventurous team building corporate retreat in the Rocky Mountains. After a minor accident on the way there to set up, she is rescued by a handsome mountain guide on horseback. At first, the two clash on everything, but an attraction grows and they learn that together anything is possible. Oh my days. This film is nuts. This film is straight nuts, right? The it just doesn't make any sort of sense, right? Because it's an event planning organization, right? Diane's organization. And they're planning this retreat out. Now, when you're planning something, right, you can pick any location you want, but before you put that forward to anyone, you would check logistics, right? You check accessibility, you check that it has the resources and everything that you need. You're not just looking on the fucking you'd make phone calls, just all of this thing. So they're a professional organization, but they've done none of this. Right? So essentially, if this was done like, any sort of event should be planned, none of the issues of this film would happen. But the way it's done, it's not like, oh, we had to do this at a rush. Oh, we had to contingency. We had to just change. We had to fast pivot. If they had done that, you'd be like, okay, I could see how this may have happened, but it's not. So you're just like scratching your head because the way they're talking about it is if it's super professional. And it's just like, wait, what have you done? This makes no sort of sense, right? Even the whole briefing process. If a client comes to you and says, look, this is I want an event. They don't just say, I just want an event. No, they would be like, look, I'm looking to do this. It's for this amount of people. I want this to happen because this is the nature of the event. It looks like there was no brief, right? Which doesn't happen. Because they're just like, oh, we think the event could be this and this. And the guy's like, no, like, what are you doing? This is what I want my event to be. So just that whole setup is goofy as fuck, right? We're meant to believe that Meg has successfully run this wedding, company for 3 years, supposedly. Now, weddings and outside retreats are completely different, but it's just she shows no ability to project manage or just even common sense, right? The whole thing towards the end with lighting the fire in the cabin, right? I don't think you need to know a whole heap of it. It's just fucking common sense, right? Just common sense. But we have these things. It's the at the start when she's traveling. First of all, she's not going that fast, but it's seeing the tree in the road and then veering off. You're just like, I mean, cars have got good brakes. You could have just put your brakes on. There's no needing to run off the road. What are we doing? As soon as she gets her phone out, you know what's going to happen. But here's the thing. All phones nowadays can go in the water. So the fact that she drops her phone in the water and is like, oh my God, I can't use my phone now. You're just like, what are you talking about? Like every phone, a Samsung, a Galaxy, that's the same thing. A Samsung, an iPhone, a Pixel, right? All of these things can go in the water. All of them. Right? Even the what's that Chinese brand that is getting like banned all over the place? Their phone's water resistant, right? It can go in, the whole thing, like on Apple and Samsung, they're like they can go in the swimming pool. They can go to a depth of. Now, the amount of water her phone goes in, not that deep. Not that deep. So it's just one of these things. And she's just like, oh, my face. Like, you would have all of that information in an email, in a Word doc. Like, there's so many places you would have. It wouldn't be like, it's just all on my phone. Oh my God, I can't access it. You're just like, what are we talking about? This is the thing. She's like, I ran a wedding company for 3 years. So if you have done that, how is this happening? Right? How the story makes no sense logically. Like logically, you can see what they want to do, that whole thing of girl gets in trouble, but she's actually resilient and she can do it herself. But a guy comes along and they're not friends at first, but they fall in love. They want to do that thing. Fine. I have no issue with that. I mean, it's played out, it's hokey, but there's ways to do it where it can work. You know what I mean? Now, if you are doing that, make it logical, right? Make it make sense. And that's the problem with this. It makes no sort of sense. You know? It makes no sort of sense. It's just like they're not together long enough. They don't ask each other any sort of in-depth question. They're not trying to get who each other are. So how the fuck are they falling in love? Right? They want to make Rye as this, guy that's got all the answers. You know what I mean? Like a whole lot of wisdom in that head. But he's just it's essentially reading things that you find on a lolly slit, a lolly stick, or a Snapple lid, right? There's no like great wisdom here. It's just regurgitating bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what? I've learned that if you talk to someone, that's when you truly get to know them. You're like, whoa, drop the mic, son. Whoa, that was so deep. It's just like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know? And a big thing in this is that there's no trust because Shorty, on multiple occasions, snoops. And it's just like, oh, I'm so sorry. And it's just like, firstly, it's wrong, but you keep on looking over your shoulder, right? So you can't be bent out of shape because you got caught snooping. But then you go do it again and again. Like, what the fuck? It's just insane, right? They're in the wild, but their clothes not dirty. Even though she's falling over, they're going in dirty water. Like it's a crazy ass film. It's a crazy ass film, right? It makes no sort of sense. There's no real emotion in the acting. It's all a little bit cardboard cutout, I would say. Now, that's my view because I'm not down with these films, right? This is the equivalent of a Hallmark movie, right? It's one of those ones that you find. It's like daytime, that old school daytime TV, like a beach type of thing. Though that was real funny. This isn't really funny. So here's the rub, right? If if you're a fan of the Hallmark channel, right? Boom. And we all like different things. Have your fun, man. Have your fun. If you liked a Nashville Wish, right? The idea of you. Um, what else? Mistletoe Ranch. Right? If those are your kind of films, then yeah, this film's gonna work for you. This film, if you liked Mother of the Bride, you know, this film is gonna work for you. If you liked Ruby's Choice, right? If you liked Ruby's Choice, then A Rocky Mountain Affair, it's for you. You know what I mean? So I think that says it all, right? It's gonna be available on all your favorite VODs. Now, it drops on the 4th, right? On the 4th, on Tuesday. So you can check it there. Now, here's the thing. So Well, in some yeah, on the 4th, I think it's the 6th in the States. If you are in Canada, it's already out, right? It's already out, supposedly on Apple and Super Channel via Prime Video. But you need to look for Hearts Creek if you're in Canada. The rest of the world, it's a Rocky Mountain affair. So yeah, I hope that's clear, right? It's a little confusing. It's a little confusing, ain't gonna lie, but those are the apples we have. But yes, a Rocky Mountain affair, people. You know, as I said, look, if you enjoy a Hallmark movie, this will be perfect for you. So just ask yourself, what are you into? And yeah, that will lead you in the direction you need to go. All right. A Rocky Mountain affair, aka Hearts Creek.